Hello everybody, my name is David Pomeranz and I sing songs and I write songs and I travel the world. No, I'm not Thorsten, but I'm the musical Thorsten. And he usually starts these things with a little song, a little melody. So I'm going to write one of my own. Here we go. Too many billion people running around the planet. What is the chance in heaven that you'd find your way to me? Tell me, what is the sweet sensation? It's a miracle that's happened. Though I search for an explanation, only one thing it could be: that I was born for you. It was written in the stars. Yeah, I was born for you. And the choice was never ours. It's as if the powers of the universe conspired to make you mine. Until the day I die, I bless the day that I was born for you. Below you'll find links to my music. You can see it right there. You can buy it anywhere. And of course we have links to my upcoming tour, which is in Australia, New Zealand, and the Philippines, which I love so much. And you can see my website there as well. Many people ask me about how do I write music. And it's interesting because this is Thorsten's avenue. This is his group. This is where he lives. And I must tell you that I find that writing music is probably very similar to taking a photograph or to painting a picture. And it's true that art is art. When I'm writing a song or want to write a song, I get a concept and I see it. It's in my mind. It may be fully developed, it may have a complete lyric, or it may have one word or just a tune. Like I'm 6 years old and I just, you know, have my little tape recorder or whatever I have there on my phone and I put the tune down. But I think what makes it similar is that the concept is something that amuses me, inspires me, interests me. And I think that's what ties it together. I'm going to ask Thorsten about that if that's true for him. But it's the interest factor that makes a work of art so exciting, because the artist is excited and is interested to make it, and it comes across, and if he's really good at it, it will communicate, and it will communicate on and on and on. I must tell you something. I was in Amsterdam one time, and I had never seen a Van Gogh painting live before, on a wall, only in books. And my wife took me to the museum, and there was one of his paintings. One of the ones where the paint actually comes off the canvas a little bit, a little three-dimensional. And I stopped and I gasped and I cried. It was a revelation. And I could have written a symphony at that moment. That would have gone with this, gone with this, gone with this. I'm sure Thorsten would have gone out and just... It's inspiration. It hits you. And that's what's so exciting about making art. When someone gets an inspiration in music, I'll speak for myself, when I am inspired with a little tune, it doesn't have to be a big deal. Sometimes I get a little tune in my head. Sometimes I even dream it. And what I do is by my bed, I have my phone with a little voice recorder on it, and I go la 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 into my phone so I don't forget it. So it's important to do that. It's important because, I don't know about you guys, but for me, if I don't do that, it's gone. Especially when I dream it. One of the things that I run into, maybe it's true for you too, is I tend to sometimes invalidate or make less of what I've just done. If something just comes to me and I go, yeah, that's a nice little tune, but it doesn't matter. It's too small. It's not interesting. And I start to criticize my own work, and I've found that that's the wrong thing to do. The right thing to do is create a lot of things. Little things, big things, intricate things, silly things, and not criticize myself. And I'll find that when I listen back to these things later on, I go, wait a minute, that was cool. And if I had criticized that away, it would never exist. I think it's important to just put it down and have at it. Playful. Make one. Make something. Well, here's a couple of examples of what it'd be like to just not criticize the thing away, the inspirational moment away. I had just come from a very inspiring seminar. I was living in San Francisco, and I was driving on the road, and it came to me, this little tiny melody, and with it, lyrics. It's in every one of us. It's in here. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us, by and by. While I'm driving. And I had, at the time, I had a little tape recorder. And you know how tape recorders went, right? So you can find it. So I played it, I recorded it, played it back, and I'm still driving. It's in every one of us to be wise. I went, whoa. I ran home. I parked my car first. But then I got home and I finished the song, put a verse on it, blah, blah, blah. And then it was a big hit. It was in the movie Big with Tom Hanks. It was all over the place. This little tiny song. And what was beautiful about it, it was real. It was natural. It was me. It's what I wanted to say right then and there, and I didn't criticize it away. Another thing I find interesting is, and I have this tendency sometimes to work on something very hard, and I want it to be perfect. I mean, perfect. And every single note needs to be the right note and the right chord, etc. And I was working on a song called This Is What I Dreamed, and it was a beautiful love song, and I worked on it for 9 months. 9 months. Over and over and over the lyrics, and over, until I drove myself insane. I went crazy. And my wife at the time said, honey, I think you've done it. I think you're done. I said, no, it's not there yet. I kept going, and what was funny, it was like 9 months later, I realized I had gone insane. I went way too far. You know, it'd be like a painter painting a painting. He's got a whole canvas, and he's working on the bottom corner for 6 months. That's got to be a perfect flower, right? So anyway, what happened was I realized she was right. And I went back to see how far back do I need to go to find where it was perfect, where it really was fine. And I went about 6 months back and I located the version that was just great. And I went too far. So it's interesting that one can go too far with perfection. Perfection is the moment it communicates. It's the moment when I get tears and chills and my heart thumps, and then hopefully the listener gets it too. That's the moment when it's done. Some people have trouble finding their style. I hear this all the time. I'm sure you do too. You know, what am I going to be like? Am I going to be like Bruce Springsteen? Am I going to be like, I don't know, Ariana Grande or something, you know? And it's interesting, the masters, the people that are great, you want to emulate, you want to find out what they're doing, and it's going to be very interesting to you in any art form. The masters are going to be interesting to you when they communicate with you. They're going to inspire you, and they're going to set your motor running, you know? Every snowflake is different. It's the truth. It's not just a cliche. It's true. And so we got two things going here. One is a masterly way of approaching it, a craftsman way of approaching what you do. And you do it well, and you know how. You can play the piano. You can sing without going flat. You know, you get the technique and the technology down. You got it. And then, really, all you have to do is speak. And your speech or song or photo or painting will be so you that it will be unique. There will never be another one like it. As I write a song, and it's for me, and I sing that song, that's my stamp on it. People will hear my voice, my style, and that voice, the way I inflect the music, the way I say the music, the way I speak the lyric, and it's completely me. And I had an experience one time where I wrote a song that was recorded by Barry Manilow, who many of you know. And I wrote a couple of hits for him. One was called Trying to Get the Feeling Again. And it goes, I've been up, down, trying to get the feeling again. All around, trying to get the feeling again. The one that made me shiver, make my knees start to quiver every time she walks in, right? So trying to get the feeling, and Barry did it. And I went, wow, and it was completely different. Not that it was a different song, it was the same song, but it was, his record was completely Barry Manilow. My record was totally David Pomeranz. And it was fascinating to see it. And it really cemented or made more real to me that everyone is different. And everyone, and you, if you do someone else's song, or they do your song, they'll put themselves in it, and you will put yourself in it. And never, the old example, the old saying, never the twain shall meet. In other words, it doesn't conflict ever. It's completely different. You and them. Different. Here comes the sun. Isn't that a great song? Oh my God. You know, I was thinking about, you know, inspiration, where does it come from, la la la. And how do I get it? If it's 9 to 5, you know, like sit down, it's time to write a song. So what do I do? And I know for me, usually I get out of the house. I go somewhere, I take a walk. I was talking to Thorsten about this recently. He does something similar. We get out, we look at nature, we get our attention off of this machine going around. What am I going to do? And thinky. You get the thinky away and you start looking at trees and look at the sky. And space, whew, wow. And sometimes I go to a restaurant, a busy one, and I'll bring my computer and I'll sit down and I'll have too much coffee and some really wah. And I will find myself, you know, if it's lyrics. If it's music, I carry this, right? And I go la 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 la, and I don't what do you call it? Criticize myself, and like that. So I guess what I'm saying is that don't try so hard if it's hard. Well, anyway, thank you for having me. I've so enjoyed talking to you today. And if you would like to comment, feel free. Just write a comment to us, and hopefully I can come back sometime, and maybe Thorsten and I can do a show together. I'd love to talk to him about the similarities between music and photography, and there are so many of them. So until then, thank you so much, and I send love to you. And thanks to Thorsten for having me today. Bye-bye for now. What's really funny is that Thorsten and I met in 1987 when I was performing in Copenhagen, and he took some shots of me and such. And here we are all these years later, dear friends, and we live on the same street. I'm literally across the street from him. So it's wonderful to see him and to share these artistic stories with him. That's a good thing. Good neighbor. Too many billion people.
Yeah, this is wonderful. Yeah.
And what language am I talking? Am I greeting everyone in English?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Okay.
What else would you do?
Well, I could say hello in other languages. It just
You have any others? Okay, let's just roll with it.
Oh yeah.
Cameras are rolling, both of them.
Okay.
So we can zoom in and see what you're doing with your hands also.
Yes.
But just start.
Okay. Ready? Boink. If it's hard, get up, take a walk, look around, and go to wherever. You know, I hear that Billy Joel, not always perhaps, but he would go to a bar. I've heard this, I hope it's true, maybe it is not. But he'd go to a bar and he'd sit down, and you know how many people are in a bar? Hey Joe, blah, 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 cigarettes, you know, guys picking up girls, all this stuff. He goes to the bar and he somehow helps him go into his little space. And he creates songs like that. I mean, I can't do that, and it's whatever it takes. The playwright, Sam Shepard, who wrote lots of off-Broadway and Broadway plays, he would go into his truck and drive, and he'd pull over, and he'd sit there with a pen and pad, and he'd just write. No phones, no wife, no kids, just... And when it's over, and he goes home, has lunch, right? So whatever works for you, go to that place and have some fun creating.